Imagine a world where when one person wins, the entire community wins. Today on the show, we have an innovator, a dreamer, and a visionary. A person who went from the music industry to the political industry to now solving for, in an innovative way, a place where when one person wins, everyone wins. On the show right now, Rummi Khan, founder of Public House. Assalamu alaikum, Rummi. Thanks for being on the show today.
Walaikum salam. Tayyab bhai, how's it going, man?
I'm doing really good. I'm so glad you're here. I can't wait to dig in to, Public House. But before we get there, I get asked all the time from people, hey, I'm at my job right now and I'm getting burnt out and I'm tired and I'm thinking about starting a nonprofit. I'm thinking about joining a nonprofit. And I'm like, look, you're going to find the best inspiration when you hear stories of other people who've made that journey. And so when you reflect back, Rummi, at that moment or that transition where you made that transition from successful, for-profit world person to now, mashallah, being a change maker in the social good world, what was that journey like? What happened that day? What was going on through your mind?
Yeah. It's funny when you're asked a question like that, you don't necessarily realize that there was an instinctive moment. But it's often a question I ask people. What was the moment that you knew, this and this? For me, it was a few moments over a series of years that summated to a moment where I realized all those other moments connected, right? Where it wasn't an epiphany. I felt like I was having an epiphany, but then in that moment, I realized the epiphany is actually, I've been thinking of these things all along. Or this has been coming forward all along. When you think about what you want to add to something, Islam tells us, leave a place better than you found it. And whatever your career aspirations are, if you're ambitious, you want to excel and succeed. Part of that is doing better than the people around you. Part of that is creating a solution that is better, for your company, venture, organization, etc. And so that your community, your company is doing better than the industry, right? Or the companies around it. Whatever it is, if you want to do better, leave a place better than you found it. So for me, the journey became what will I have contributed to the world if I've inherited a landscape where I'm born into an America. I was born in England, but I was born into, an environment where we are a minority, we are other, and we are often misunderstood. How much of that has to do with the burden of people to seek out understanding everything they don't? And how much of that is the burden of being a representation of what you are that makes you different in such a way that it's pretty easy for people to pick up on the good parts.
Yeah.
Right. So whatever space I was in, and I started in music, everyone around me, often, maybe they had a Muslim friend. In music, it's more common than maybe other industries. But everyone around me was experiencing me for the first time and the way that I experienced my faith for the first time. And so I made distinctions between, hey, this is what the faith says, and this is how a lot of us sometimes behave, right? And so then they got a different nuance and understanding, and they would proudly express that to other people they meet. So for me, it was the moment was, I worked in music, then I worked in politics, and then you and I connected at this transition point. And just kind of before the show started, you reminded me that there were things that I were doing that fall into social good or social impact.
That's right.
That to me at the time when I incepted it, didn't feel like it was necessarily that. It just felt like, hey, this is an authentic expression of culture and bringing us together so that we can understand each other. So I would say probably somewhere around 2014 was when I really knew what was going on. But I think that 2010, 2011 was when I had started sort of just discovering things. And then between 2011 and 2014, there was a window where I just said yes to everything. And
I love that. Sorry to cut you off, but how old were you around those ages? Just for the audience out there, 2010, 2015, 2020.
Someone else do the math. I'm 40 now, so.
Oh, mashallah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're 40 now in 2026, then you were in the 20s, mid 20s, you're starting this sort of thinking journey. I love that because a lot of the folks who are reaching out to me are post college, early career, wondering, what am I doing? Was this the journey? You know? Okay. So now it's starting to click. And then,
So it started to click. And then I realized if you look back at your life and, you hear these stories from elders and from, clips of wisdom and so on, like, live your life without regrets and so on and so on. Like, what's the one thing that I want to do regardless of anything else? And it's like, I want people to feel confident about their ability to do whatever they're meant to. And so
mm,
whether I know what my purpose is or not, I felt really sure about the idea that anyone I encounter should be inspired by whatever value systems they hold to, but also their belief in themselves. And so how do you believe in yourself in a way that makes whatever your purpose is become more clear to you? And how do you do the thing that you think you need? Do what you need to do now and what you need to do then and whenever then is. But like, how do you find clarity in that? So for me, it was, and I know this is all over the place, but
no, I love it. I love it. You drop something, ever since I've known you, Rummi, like you drop these lines, man, it just blows me away. Like I want everyone to be confident in in knowing what they need to do to be purposeful and meaningful. And I kind of connect that back to what I heard you say was part of your discovery journey in when you were 20, mid 20s. Like you're meeting all these people and having these conversations that are separating, blurring and separating Islamic purpose and behavior, and potentially causing people to think, well, these behaviors are representative of Islam. And you're saying, no, 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 our behaviors is not necessarily representative of Islam. This is Islam, and Islam calls us to a purpose, and you're on that journey to find your purpose and out there doing it. Okay, so sorry, I was just blown away by
no, it
that.
was great. My brother shared a phrase with me once: "Don't let school get in the way of your education." And so, in adapting that phrase, don't let Muslims get away in the way of your understanding Islam.
Oh, love it.
So it's yeah, man. The moment where I was able to connect all the dots back, right, and I did the Inspired Lifestyle League, the Muslims Project, in starting in 2014. That was, I looked at. And I think maybe this is going to help to the actual question. So I promise, guys, I always answer the question. I just maybe go a long zigzag way around it. You don't always have to know when. And when you know when, it's likely already happened, right?
Love it.
So
Yeah.
when you know, it's retroactive. And the interesting thing about memory is that it's edited every time you recall it, right? So the journey is as valuable as your present moment. And your present moment is as valuable as your intention. And your intention is as valuable as your clarity. And so it goes back to like your heart and your intellect being in alignment, or your qalb and your akal, right? So for me, then it was, don't think that if you do something that's charitable or nonprofit or work in community spaces, that it's any less challenging or requires any less, of a standard or ihsan than any other field. Um, Whatever you go into, my father wanted me, you know, uh, revealing the big secret. My dad wanted me to be a doctor, guys. Can you believe it? And but the reality is that whatever you do, there's still a residency, right? You still have that training period where you're going to work like a dog, where it's going to be impossible hours, where you're going to really hone your skills, where you're the bottom man on the totem pole, right? You're getting, hazing, if you will, whatever it is, right? You're paying your dues. And so the same thing happens with, you might leave a corporate job and have aspirations to want to do charity work. You might, because you're really good at your corporate job and you've got a really good skill set, that I'm somehow able to do anything. And like, I want you to believe that, but I want you to have a healthy respect for the challenge in front of you, and a healthy respect for yourself to know that anything you do should be done with excellence. Because if that's your values system, right? For me, it's my faith, and my faith speaks to Islam, Ihsan, and Maslaha. And so whatever you do, try to do it with that. As if you're doing that, nonprofits aren't any easier than any other place, right? And there are specific nuances to how it works. So social good is an intention, right? The outcome, the action is all of the, and you know, my poor dear beloved brother have dealt with probably more than anyone, is the nuance of like, you know, the actual steps along the way in a regulatory environment, you know, community politics, and things that are universal human challenge regardless of industry, right? Ego, that's our ultimate ops, as a young youth say, right? The ops. My ops, my ego, as is everyone else's. And then for community, the op becomes those that don't believe themselves to be part of the whole because ego has them believing that they're bigger.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's I'm just taking on the theme of like, what's the journey of others, and if they're wanting to do it, where did I start? I started with wanting to leave a place better than I found it. And that wasn't immediately apparent to me as being something beyond me being in the business of music. And then when I got into politics, it was like, oh, it's because music, and you know, you have a principle and you're trying to get people to support that principle. And music, it's attend a concert, buy a ticket, stream the video. For politics, for campaign, it was listen to this speech and policy position, volunteer, donate, and vote. And so it was still a principle that needed hearts and minds for an action. And it was largely the same sort of formula in how you know, take that sort of celebrity-esque figure, connect them to the people in a safe way, and communicate an idea. Everything you're doing is getting people to press play. So I realized that what I was doing in music and politics was so that we have representation. Me as a person with agency was represented in spaces that we as a community aren't. Right. And because I cared about community, I didn't realize that I was bringing community with me. I was just bringing what I cared about, which is what we do. So I think if we're talking to anyone that's like looking to make a jump from, don't leave something solely because you hate it and jump into something because it's better than what you hate. Identify good. What does good look like for you? If you're going to leave something, leave it for something you love.
Yeah.
Right. And know that just because you love a thing, it may not be good for you. And just because you hate a thing, you know, it may not be bad for you. I'm misquoting.
Sounds like a quote from the Quran. I love it.
Yeah.
You know, Rummi, now that, wow, you know, I didn't know this was your 40th year. Isn't it crazy how, like, you know, when you turn 40, you hit this clarity? It's like, you know, there's that verse in Surah Ahqaf, you know, Allah says, now that you're 40, thank your parents, ask Allah for forgiveness in the last verse. And there's different interpretations of it and translations of it. But my favorite, my understanding of it is now go out and be the Muslim you worked on becoming and delivering. You know, the word Muslim meaning serve. You know, so brings me to, you know, now that you're 40, Rummi, you know, I know you've been telling me about Public House for a while, and it's been this sort of dream that you've shared so many times, and now it's happening. Tell us about Public House and what is it, and what's the dream and the vision for it?
So Public House is a home for future leaders, entrepreneurs, and community builders advancing public good.
Advancing public good, leaders advancing public good. Love it already.
Yeah. And so the idea is that these things are not siloed in reality. If you want a better world, a world has an entrepreneur, an active business, it has civic leadership, it has political leadership, you know, it has all of these various components. And so we want to create a place where you can build without thinking that the world is siloed. And those ideas come together. So these people that are moving through these spaces have an awareness and understanding of what the other needs, because the world is built together. We all live in it. Theory isn't going to get you to utopia. It's going to be the negotiation between theory and practical adoption, right? You can pretend like, forecast, human behavior is this, and then boom, it's not, right? So Public House is that place where we have a home for builders who build, right? We have a home for people who build. What you build is up to you. How you build it, for us, that's the infusion. Public good means excellence, ethics, values alignment. are the prerequisite for something to be good on the other side.
Where is it a place? Is it an online community? Is it a social media platform? Is it a physical place? So
it will soon be a physical place.
Okay.
Starting here in the DMV, and then inshallah in every major community in America. Right now, you can join us with programmatic activations in the DMV and online. We are not streaming our sessions right now. That was an intentional decision because we want the value to be created in the room. Because Tayyab knows me, so for anyone else, it's going to be like, hey, he's a little bit weird with. We all have a magnetic sphere around us, and if you're in alignment, then it's an electromagnetic sphere. So what you gain from communication and being physically near someone is far more than the words and body language, right? It's their energetic presence. So if you're thinking about designing something and building something that doesn't exist, right? You're creating. We want there to be an energy and a connectivity and an in-person experience where you're getting that intimate downloading of value from a speaker, from your peers, from your questions, and so on. But yeah, you can see us through our various channels, LinkedIn, Instagram, and online. Our website is thepublichouse.org.
So
and I was going to say thepublichouse.org is spelled normal. Everywhere else there's a V, and we can talk about the V later.
So what I'm hearing you say is today, and I can tell you this, in the last 10 years, there's been an explosion of social good projects, for profit or nonprofit, and even my show, it's the Muslim nonprofit show. And I bring on guests now who are doing for-profit work, and they're like, well, I'm not a nonprofit. I'm like, yeah, but you're a social enterprise. And not all nonprofit means is that we're out here trying to create greater value, greater than like what you said, which is for the person. And so are you thinking that it's for people who are in startup, sitting in a garage right now, sitting in a living room right now, staying up all night with Claude on AI and trying to solve a problem, in an app? I get pitched every week, Rummi, hey, I've got an app, and it's 10 people pitching me an app solving the same problem built on Claude. But hey, no judgment. I always tell people, you're not the only person. There's 10 other people in a garage or a basement somewhere working on the same problem. But what you're saying is Public House is going to create the space, the physical space, to solve those problems better, faster, by just connecting brilliant minds, and resources at the Public House. Tell me more about that.
So everyone thinks about, you hear the term accelerator, right? Well, if you think like, what is an accelerant? Right? It's a chemical. There's a catalyst or a process that speeds something up, right? However you're measuring speed. What if Socratic discussion and support at the point you're stuck in a question is the thing that speeds up your solution, because you have the support when the problem arises? So if like, I don't know how to do something, and we've got an expert, a speaker or a mentor that can help you get unstuck, or you've got peer support, or we've got, hackathons or things that you can like solve these problems with. For us, it's not like, how do you get to maximum profit? It's about, how do you get to maximum impact?
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that you can't profit. Just we as a community platform will not have profits distributed to shareholders, right? So we can earn revenue, we can add resources to the community that we then distribute back into the community. So innately, our model is full redistribution. And there might be other things in the future where there's not full redistribution. That's just something that's maybe not a nonprofit. Like you can't, certain funds can't be structured. But for us right now, we're doing two verticals. We're calling them public assembly and public school. So public assembly are, you got to get the names.
Love it. I love it.
So public assembly are the socials, the peer-based interactions, fireside chats, where you're downloading insights from a mentor, and then you're having a social component. We also have in our programming like audience interaction amongst yourselves. So, figure out what's stuck for someone, and then you share that with us.
Yeah.
What was your neighbor stuck on? because now that sits with you. Now you have an understanding of what is a problem that someone in the community is facing. So now when you encounter someone with a solution, you're going to want to, bridge that gap. So that's public school. So we do our PH Presents, which is our premier monthly fireside. We're newish, so we've been doing it in a capsule series to introduce the accelerant, introduce this concept to as wide a berth of folks in the DMV for the time being. And so that's that part. Public school has workshops, skills training, and education, which we're looking at certain components of that being housed under what we're calling public labs.
Love it. Love
Okay.
the branding.
So,
Oh man, branding. I love it.
So some of these are 0 to 1 sprints. Like, how do you get the foundations? What's the 101? I've got an idea. I want to bring it to some kind of reality. I want to be able to communicate that I have a concept that I'm working to build. So there's that. Then there's other specific points where we've got ventures in our pipeline that have their post revenue, and they're looking for a physical product getting more distribution, or they're in consumer packaged goods. And so we'll have experts in those areas connect with these folks and have workshops that are subject matter focused. So whether it's a cohort of 30 people or a cohort of 100 people, there's different skills training and education stuff available within that. And we're rolling out those products beginning July.
Yeah. I love it, Rummi. I'm a big believer in the idea that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given everybody certain superpowers. And, I'll tell you, man, like one of your superpowers is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you this profound ability to really meet people, remember people, and know their value, and then make those connections. Like your brain does people synapses, if I went to engineering school, my brain does engineering synapse, right? Your brain does people synapses. And I think that's a superpower that Allah gave you. And you're now, operationalizing that in public house for public good. And then the other thing that, I always get amazed with that I think is one of your superpowers is just the marketing messaging. I love the branding, public house, public school, public assembly. I can see it, and I can't wait. And, in the first part of our conversation today, you said something, which is, I'm dreaming of a better world where people have the confidence and understanding tools and equipment and resources to fulfill their purpose. And I feel like, man, at 40, you figured it out. Public House is operationalizing that 25-year-old Rummi's dream. We're gonna follow up in 6 months, get you back on the show, and follow Public House, and we want you to tell us and the audience where you're at with it. And I want to leave you with one last question. Paint a picture what's happening 5 years from now. Where's Public House? What's happening? You're 45. Where's Public House? What's happening? Where are you in 5 years?
I know where it is. The concise articulation in the way that you've now added pressure to say, like, hey, you always say things with these, you got these lines. I'll answer it in this way, right? I want to invite anyone that is thinking about the dichotomy between my path in career and doing well for community. They're not mutually exclusive, right? And community as a definition is a divergent populations interacting in a meaningful way. So community is wherever you build meaningful interaction, right? So be meaningful in whatever you're doing. Do it with ihsan, do it with maslaha. And if you're doing those things and you want to find others that are doing that as well, then inshallah, wherever you live in the United States or the world, you'll be able to walk over to Public House and feel right at home.
I love it.
Right?
Yes.
So that's inshallah where we are. And also imagine a space where you're at home and someone from your house ends up IPOing and your bank account goes up.
Cool.
Just because you're a member of that community.
There you go.
Right? So imagine a place where everything operates in such a way that it's additive. Whoever wins, everyone wins. And that means that everyone is wanting everyone to win.
Love it. Rummi, thank you for being on the show today. We're going to have you back out and tell us the story and an update on where Public House is. But I love it. Imagine a place where when someone wins, everyone wins. I mean, that is just beautiful. Jazakallah khair. Thank you so much. And I can't wait to coffee or steak with you when I'm back in DC, inshallah.
Bro, steak and coffee and all the du'as. So for anyone that's wanting to do public good, make dua for first your intention, yourselves, the people you can impact, for us, and join us. And I'm a shameless plug, thepublichouse.org. Check us out. And I'll tell you next time, Tayyab, all the cool things we've done with tech on our back end.
I love it. Jazakallah khair. Thank you, Rummi. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.